All right, let's dive straight into it, my friend. Once again, Stephen A. Smith is doing what Stephen A. does best, taking shots at the Dallas Cowboys, and more specifically, Dak Prescott. Now, before we even get into the meat of what he said, let me ask you this. Do you think Stephen A. genuinely believes all the stuff he says about the Cowboys, or is it just part of the show? Let me know in the comments, because it feels like every time Dallas is mentioned, he flips the script and plays the villain. In this latest rant on ESPN, Stephen A. didn't just question Dak's ability to win in the playoffs, he questioned the respect Dak holds inside his own locker room. Yeah, you heard that right. According to him, Dak Prescott isn't even the most respected player on the team. That's where things really took a turn. Now look, you and I both know Stephen A. is a master at getting reactions. He's made a career out of baiting Cowboys fans, and let's be honest, we fall for it almost every time. But this time felt a little different. This time, it wasn't just the usual Cowboys won't win a Super Bowl jab. It was personal. It was aimed directly at Dak's character and leadership. Two things that, if you've been paying attention to this team, you know are unquestioned by the guys in that locker room. And this is where the conversation started heating up. Ryan Clark, sitting right there at the table with Stephen A., didn't let that slide. But before we get into what he said, I want to hear from you. Do you think Dak gets the respect he deserves from the national media? Vote in the poll and sound off in the comments below. Let's keep it rolling, because Ryan Clark had something to say, and trust me, it was exactly what Cowboys Nation needed to hear. So right after Stephen A. took his shot, Ryan Clark didn't hesitate. He jumped in and made it clear. He completely disagreed with the idea that Dak Prescott isn't respected in the Cowboys locker room. And the way he said it? It wasn't just some casual counterpoint. He came with passion, with facts, and with the voice of someone who's actually been in an NFL locker room. Ryan said point-blank that Dak is one of the most respected quarterbacks in the league, not just on the Cowboys. He talked about how Dak has been through adversity, on and off the field, and still shows up every day as a leader, both vocally and by example. According to Ryan, respect isn't just about talent, it's about how a guy carries himself. And Dak, he said, has earned that respect the hard way. You know what? I think Ryan hit the nail on the head. Think about everything Dak has dealt with, from the ankle injury to losing his brother to the relentless national criticism, and still, he's the face of the franchise, showing up, grinding, and refusing to point fingers. That's leadership. That's accountability. And Ryan wasn't done. He brought up how teammates consistently praise Dak, guys like CeeDee Lamb, Zach Martin, and Micah Parsons. You don't see those kinds of leaders standing behind a quarterback who doesn't have the locker room. They believe in Dak. You can see it on the sidelines, in interviews, in the way they fight on Sundays. So here's a question for you. Do you agree with Ryan Clark? Is Dak one of the most respected guys in the NFL, not just on the Cowboys? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit the like button if you're tired of the media trying to tear down Dak's leadership. But of course, the national media isn't the only voice out there. Because right after this segment aired, Cowboys fans lit up social media. And what they had to say? It proves that Dak's respect goes way beyond the locker room. Right after that ESPN clip hit the air, Cowboys Nation didn't waste a second. Fans across social media, from Twitter to YouTube to message boards, were out in full force defending Dak Prescott. And not just with blind loyalty, but with real arguments. You could feel it. Cowboys fans had receipts, and they came ready. A lot of fans pointed to the fact that Dak has never thrown his teammates under the bus. Even after tough losses, even when the defense didn't hold up or the receivers dropped passes, Dak took the blame every single time. That's not just leadership, that's ownership. And for fans who watch every snap and press conference, that means something. Other fans reminded Stephen A. of the numbers. In 2023, Dak led the NFL in touchdown passes. Let me repeat that. He led the entire league. How can a guy who put up those kinds of stats be the problem in the locker room? Doesn't make sense. Fans fired back with facts, and honestly, it shut a lot of that narrative down. Then you had fans sharing clips of players talking about Dak. Remember when ceedee Lamb called him our guy? Or when Micah Parsons went on his podcast and said Dak deserves more respect? Those aren't just casual compliments. Those are statements from stars who trust and believe in their quarterback. And let me ask you this. Do you think the national media truly watches the Cowboys week to week like we do? Or are they just chasing clicks and headlines? Go ahead and vote, yes or no. I'll pin the poll in the comments section. I really want to hear your take on this one. Because here's the truth. Cowboys fans are tired of the lazy narratives. We know this team better than anyone. We watch the film, we live and die with every game, and we're not here for the hot takes that ignore the full picture. And that brings us to something bigger. Something Stephen A. and others conveniently ignore when they talk about Dak and leadership. Because when you look beyond the media noise, there's one number that shuts it all down. So here's the number that never seems to get enough attention when talking about Dak Prescott. And it should. Since entering the NFL in 2016, Dak is the winningest quarterback in Cowboys history over his first 8 seasons. That's right, more wins than Romo, more than Aikman in the same span, more than Staubach. That's not just solid, that's elite company. And yet, when the media starts tearing down Dak's leadership, they skip right past the fact that this man wins games. Regular season, he's got a 6-1 win percentage. That's better than a lot of QBs that get praised endlessly in the national spotlight. You don't do that without earning your locker room's respect. You also don't do that without handling pressure. Think about it. Who has more weight on their shoulders every Sunday than the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys? And yet, week in and week out, Dak shows up, plays through pain, tunes out the noise, and leads. And we're not saying the man is perfect. No quarterback is. We all remember the bad picks, the playoff losses, the frustrating moments. But here's the key. Dak owns it. He shows accountability every time. And more importantly, his teammates still rally around him. That's not a fluke. That's not PR. That's culture. Now here's where I want your take. Be honest with me. If Dak had the same resume but played for the 49ers or the Packers, would the national media treat him differently? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading all of them. Because let's face it, sometimes it feels like the Cowboys are held to a different standard. One slip-up? It's front-page news. One bad playoff game? He's not the guy. But when other QBs fall short, there's always an excuse. Why is that? And yet, through all of that, Dak keeps stacking wins, keeps showing up, keeps proving he's built for the long haul. So next time someone like Stephen A. questions Dak's leadership, remember this stat and remind them. But now let's flip the focus. Because while fans are defending Dak, there's another storm brewing. One that starts in the Cowboys' locker room and could shake things up in a big way. So let's stop and ask the real question behind all this noise. Why do Dak's teammates always back him? Why are Micah Parsons, ceedee Lamb, DeMarcus Lawrence, and so many others quick to shut down the media hate? Because inside that locker room, they know the truth. They see the grind. They see the consistency. They see the guy who takes the heat, never points fingers, and shows up for them. It's one thing for a quarterback to be respected by coaches. It's another to be respected by the locker room. That doesn't happen unless you've got real leadership flowing through you, and that's exactly what Dak brings to the table. The stuff the cameras don't catch, the late-night texts, the film study, the accountability meetings after a tough loss, all that matters. And Dak leads in every one of those moments. But here's the twist. The louder the national criticism gets, the stronger the locker room rallies. That's rare, that's culture, and that tells you something about this Cowboys team. Because what we're seeing now is more than a quarterback under fire. It's a team that's decided to push back. A team that's tired of being the punchline, tired of the hot takes, tired of being told they're pretenders. And fans, you're a part of that too. You know the feeling. You ride the highs and lows every Sunday. You hear the noise, You've been defending this squad for years. So here's your chance to speak up. Do you believe the locker room is behind Dak? Hit the comments and make your voice count. Let the media hear what Cowboys Nation really thinks. Because whether you're wearing a star on your helmet or cheering from the couch, this moment matters. The Cowboys aren't just playing for wins, they're fighting for respect. And if Dak keeps the locker room behind him and the fans stay loud, this team isn't going anywhere. They're going to punch back, hard. Stephen A. can have his hot takes. We'll stick with the truth.